Hello, everybody. This is Mohini Srishati from Evolve Beings, and I like to welcome you on an introductory session of human design together with Madhuri. Madhuri, welcome. Namaste from India.
Namaste.
How are you doing today?
Delighted. Oh, it's just wonderful to see you and to see the Goa behind you and to see the cat sitting there. And it feels also very nice.
Yeah, she just came next to me for the human design session. Yes. So let me welcome to all of you, Madhuri. She has been on this path of human design since 1997. She has been on this journey of human design since 1997. And she has also received very direct transmission from Osho and has got her initiation from him in 1973. She is an author she is an author, a human design expert, a meditator on the path, and she has written quite many. She has written 6 books, if I'm correct, Madhuri, yeah. And most of her and two most famous books of hers is Mistakes on the Path, which she was asked to write from Osho, which yeah, she was asked to write this book from Osho. And the other one is More About the
More
Moon.
about the moon. There's
Yeah.
poems that have the moon in every poem somewhere
Oh wow. I think all the
from my
moon
whole
lovers
life.
yeah, all the moon lovers would love to read that book. So here we are together with Madhuri on this introductory session of human design. Welcome, Madhuri.
Yes, I'm delighted.
So, Madhuri, everybody knows about astrology, tarot card reading, also a bit about I Ching, I would say, but human design is still very new for people.
Mhm.
But from my own human design reading, I know that how much value and how much clarity it brought to my life. I really wanted to include human design in Evolve Beings whole spiritual
Mm.
university as a chapter for people to be introduced to. And this is why the reason also I so much wanted to connect with you on this particular interview. And we have also a course coming up together with you. So, what is human design and how it can help people, if you can just talk about it?
So it is a new system that combines a lot of old things, like the I Ching is like 5,000 years old. Astrology, I Ching, the Kabbalah, the chakra system, the human genome, physics, all of these are in it. It was channeled in about 1986 in Ibiza in Spain by a Canadian guy. It was the same night that a supernova became visible for the first time at an observatory in Chile. So it was like a huge download for the whole planet of some new possibility. Um, what it is an incredibly accurate map of your wiring, your particular individual wiring, and there are depths to that, which gives you a picture of what you really are here to live. And it also shows you what you are not here to carry, to be burdened by, that the society will tell you that you should. So, in other words, it's a way to be yourself and to allow the conditioning to go away. This, of course, is a long process of awareness. So, human design is an awareness tool. Once you have some picture of your picture, you can start to bring your awareness to your daily life and see when you are off your real gut feeling or whatever your particular way to know something is, because everybody's different. Different people have different ways to know. For most people, it's going to be really in the body. Most people feel very relieved when they hear their design. A huge breath, like, oh, you mean it's okay just to be me?
That's
That's
exactly
how
what
I
my
felt.
yeah, yes, that's exactly was my response when I had my human design reading with you only. And I was
Mm.
like, finally, I know who am I, and I can just rest in this, and I don't have to be somebody else, and I know my strengths and I know my weaknesses. So, yes, please continue.
Yeah. And human design says nobody's broken, nothing needs fixing. So it's really just about seeing who you're supposed to be while you're here. And this universe needs all kinds of people. So we're not all supposed to be the same. But if you listen to all the garbage that everybody says, it's really trying to make everybody somehow the same. And it's not nice for people. It really doesn't work. And it gives us anxiety every day, all the time, actually. So we want to relieve you of that and give you back your particular unique nature. It starts a really long journey, human design. When you have your first reading, it starts a journey of incredible exploration. Within that sense of being relieved, you get to watch all the things that you are tempted to do that aren't really you because of fear, because of pressure, whatever. And slowly, slowly, you just get more and more and more coming back to what you really are. And it takes courage because the world says all kinds of stuff that is not about who you really are. So your courage is always going to be required, but it gets a little
Exactly.
easier. So that's how it can be
Thank you
helpful.
so.
And yeah, go ahead, love.
There are also, types of human design. Now, when I know a bit, so I would like you to throw some light on that also. That on these different types of human designs, people
Like,
or
what do you
type,
mean? Oh,
like
oh, different types.
manifestation.
Oh, the types. Okay.
Yeah,
So just like there are 4 blood types with a lot of subtypes, there are in human design system, there are 4 basic types of people with a lot of subtypes. And the type is really important. It's not all that you are. It's a kind of a ground of being thing, and you will have your own unique way of being that thing, that type. But it is very important. So there are generators, which are 70% of people. There are projectors, which are 21% of people. There are manifestors, which are 8% of people. And there are reflectors, which are 1% of people. And then a lot of subtypes.
so when
And
you yes.
go ahead.
So when you see a human design chart, how does it look and what is it comprised of? Or maybe you can explain a
Um,
bit about human
okay,
design.
I don't know if anybody can see that.
Yes, we can. Yeah.
So that's mine. So it's got 9 chakras in it, and some are colored in and some are not colored in. And then it's got a lot of little numbers on the sides and some other information. So this map I can talk about for 2 hours at least, just to look at this paper. But I also do some further research with every design where I go into what these little numbers are, these what we can call gates and nuances, which fine tune it even more. So it's the 7 chakras we know about, but there's 2 more added, which are not in a specific place, but are kind of all over properties of the body. And I'm quite happy to let the 7 chakra system and this 9 chakra system exist side by side without any worrying about it. Um, so the ones that are colored in are your gifts. It's what you're here to be. It is your nature. It is your unique offering in this life. And it's enough joy just to be that, to play with that, to explore that all your life. You don't also have to be everything else. So the open ones are where you're here to go to school and to learn and to become an expert, an objective expert. And you can only become an objective expert when you're not identified with that chakra. And mostly because human being is a strange monkey. So people are more interested in what they're not than what they are. And we put a lot of energy into trying hard to be something that we really have no business worrying about. So when you have your reading, you get a picture for that, like, aha, oh, okay, this is where I've been putting my energy. It's given me so much frustration. It doesn't work. And now I realize it's not even me. So that's a big freedom.
So, how long generally a reading can take, which can give a good insight for a person about his own chart and human design, you would say?
The readings I do are lasting about an hour and 3/4.
Hmm.
And there are many different readers of human design all over this world now. And my own experience is it's really good to enjoy as many as come along for you in the right timing. So everybody will have their own way, their own perspective, and they can be very valuable for you or not. And you can just trust what we call your inner authority, which is different for everybody. It is the way you make decisions. And this is really what human design is mostly about, how you make a decision that is really from your nature instead of from the shoulds. And this also regards who is going to do your reading or readings. And timing is also a very important thing because humans are so much in a hurry, because we have this monkey mind and because the internet is getting us to hurry faster and faster all the time. But hurrying is for most people not a very good idea. And when you're going to be getting a reading or a second reading or a third reading or different kinds of session, it might be a transit session about when the planets are moving and things like that. The timing of that will be perfect for you if you're really following your own your own inner knowing. And this is what I would be describing for you, how to know that, what is yours particularly.
Wow, that would be really, yeah, very helpful because most of us we struggle knowing which direction to go or which way to go, and we always struggle in making decisions which are good for our inner growth, which is good and in harmony with our soul, not just with the materialistic world perspective, but also what our soul is craving for, what who we truly are. So we also listen to that, we also get in tune with our inner self. So now when you started to talk on how human design can help us to make decisions, it's a very important point, and it's a very, very helpful tool, I would say, that we can receive through our readings of human design chart. And if something
Yes.
more also you want to add under this, how human design can be helpful in decision making, please elaborate more.
Since you were born and since you went to school also, the whole world has been trying to get you away from your truth. They've been teaching you to believe in certain ideas and certain shoulds of how people should be. And this is a very strong pressure, as we call conditioning, very strong, because the survival is also linked to it because the parents are giving the food and they're also giving these shoulds. So when it's time to find out who we really are and to let go of what we're not, it can be really scary and take a lot of awareness. But what we have to come back to again and again and rely on is what we call our strategy and authority. Strategy and authority is something like, well, for a lot of people, that might mean wait, wait, wait. Wait to be presented something by life rather than chasing it. And then once life has presented something, wait longer to feel out in your body, in your whole up and down waves of, oh, that's good. Oh, no, that's not good. The whole process until there is a kind of calm and a clarity. That's about half the people in the world have that as their inner authority. We call it emotional authority. And hurrying is not going to help anything. That's only going to get people doing stuff that is going to be wrong for them. They will become frustrated, freaked out, things won't be working. And it's not easy to claim that because the world is saying, first of all, be ashamed of feeling. And the world is saying, be in a hurry, accomplish something, do something, push, try hard. We call that the the American Nike Just Do It religion. And it's all coming out of fear. And when we relax into what we really are, time itself expands. Time is not a finite thing. It is not a given, as Einstein pointed out to us. It is completely mutable itself. And when we relax without fear into our own nature, we have more time and we live longer. And the time that we're in right now is bigger and more like a honeymoon than like a rat race. And this is a great rebellion in this world to claim that space.
You said very, very amazing points here, which is like, you know, um, kind of, I would say, Wikipedia for human design, or such key points you highlighted here, which is so very important for all of us to realize and not to rush and not to believe in what others say or what others want us to be, rather than be who we truly are
Yes,
and believe in our own self. So
yes.
thank you, Madhuri, for highlighting this. Yeah. You We are also coming up with a relationship. How do you connect human design with the way of relating? How can it help? How human design can be connected with the relationships?
Mm. This is so important. And it's, for me, also tremendous fun. It's like wonderful puzzles that I get to look into with all these different relatings. And these puzzles have their roots in human blood and bone. So it's like very important. Um, when you first start your journey, it's quite natural to get really curious about the important people in your life and to start looking at their designs as well. And then after some time, when you started to get more comfortable with it, and in the course that I'm going to be giving, you will be learning how to get comfortable with a chart. Um, Once you have gotten more comfortable with that, you can start putting two charts together. And then there's a whole way to read that, which is a further study, how to read what happens when you put two charts together. It's very important to look at this for your parents. You're relating with each of your parents, with ex-boyfriends as well as current boyfriends or possible boyfriends, with siblings, because all of our lives we are with people and we have troubles with them many times, and people tend to want each other to be like them. But with human design, what we learn is how to give people space and respect to be different than us. And this is so important, to let somebody be different. In a relationship, a love relationship, we get attracted to the other because they're different. And it's very exciting. But at some point, we start trying to make them like ourselves. And then it is not nice anymore. And when we have the chart and we know about it, we can again and again remember, lay off, give them space, let them be. Don't bother them. Let them be. Now, this in no way takes away from your right to have boundaries. For some people, boundaries are easier than for other people. We'll be going into that as well. But at least we can let a person be different and be themselves. Now, with love relationships, we want to know um, how the other person is going to affect us, the things that are going to be very nourishing, appealing, and the things that are going to be difficult. Relationships, people are constantly hoping to have wonderful, perfect, happy ones. And nature doesn't seem to care about that very much, because the couples charts I see all have a fatal flaw. So I think that's built in. because we're here to be ourselves. We're not here to be only a unit. So we're constantly going to be thrown back on ourselves in relationship. What we're going to look at most fundamentally in a relationship is how you got connected in the first place, and if you feel love and joy. If you feel love and joy and you're connected, there's a reason you're together. It might be past lives, it might be the wholeness of things brought you together. Okay, but once you're there, out of the billions of people on earth, you are currently having something to do with this one. It's good to know what the wiring is, what the mechanics are, so that you can have some confidence how to treat the other person. Um, if something isn't working, you can see when it's just the wiring. You don't have to blame them, which is a big relief not to have to blame somebody. So I cannot imagine anymore navigating relationships without this tool. At the same time as it brings us back to our body knowing. So we have the tool and we have our inner authority, so that the tool refers us to the inner authority. Experiential human design means it's your real life. It's not just a thing on paper. It's not just in your mind. It's not just intellectual. It's your daily laboratory of living, breathing that you're in. And that's very important because it's quite seductive to go in the mind and go, ah, and there's lots and lots of stuff on Facebook where you can do that. And it's fine until you get the feeling like, now I'm getting up here and I want to come back to my body,
So to
because
read
that's where it's.
the human design chart in terms of relationships, do you generally ask for both the charts? For both,
Yes.
yeah, okay.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and is
We need
it
both the
also
charts.
like a particular, category of human design people are more suited for the other kind of, like, for example, if somebody is a projector 4 by
Mhm.
6, then
Yeah.
you tell them that you are more suitable, for example, manifesting generator 2 by
Yeah.
something like
That's
that.
that's definitely part of it. Yeah. And in daily life, the different types have ways to optimally relate with each other because all the types are needed and they're all meant to work together to make the whole thing and to find out how to treat each other, whether it's family members, friends, colleagues, um, or lovers, or anyone, so that you can give them the respect for the type they are and get the best out of the connection
Okay.
without wasting energy.
So do you recommend a human design reading before people are getting married?
I would recommend a 7-year human design process before getting married. 7 years where you are going in your own process and looking at yourself and deconditioning. But this is just me. I'm not a very marriage wired person, my own self, but that doesn't mean others can't be. They certainly can be. There is a danger if you rush, and a lot of people will be rushing when they shouldn't. That's one of the biggest dangers that people generally have, is to rush into something when they shouldn't. Marry in haste, repent in leisure. You know that quote?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Right. So do you recommend, human design as a very effective tool in finding ways of relating with people, or finding right connections with people, and also finding clarity in what had been your patterns with people in past, and
Yes.
what we should avoid, and what could be more healthier in the next relationship, is
Yeah,
that
definitely.
can become evident.
Yeah, yeah. It's really fun to look into your past relationships and see, because you have the hindsight and you really have the whole picture, and then you can look at it and go, oh, yeah, okay. That's why he was such an asshole in that way, because he had this particular selfish thing, which he was supposed to have.
Or we
And
have been such an asshole with that person. It's always easy to blame.
or we were an asshole with that person and they got mad at us. Exactly. Exactly. It's so helpful because it really takes away the labor, the heaviness of blame. Blame is miserable to carry around. You know, it's
Exactly.
heavy, it's dark, it's red, it's black. And at least it helps to get rid of some of it, you know. The person is just like that.
Exactly. So, do you recommend for people who are also single and looking for relationships, or wanting to invite a soulmate or a partner? So, a human design connected with the ways of relating can be very effective
Yeah,
to them. Yeah.
yeah, definitely. Um, you know, it's like you meet somebody somehow because you meet them online or you bump into them somewhere or whatever. And at some point, if it looks like it could be an interesting connection, it's a good thing to see what you're dealing with. And again, to come back to your own inner authority so that you go on trusting each step of the way what really is the case for you. So that you're not just being pressured by someone or you're not just in an old pattern of something that isn't really your nature or whatever it might be. One of the things that's been most helpful for me in all of that, I had a long career as a you know, um, a player in this
You're a
realm,
Bollywood
and
dancer as well, huh, Madhuri? I see.
it's all in my book. And I was trying most of that time to be a red hot mama. Mm. I was trying to be really hot and to get men and to then I thought, okay, now I'm in bed with one and I have to have a really intense, amazing experience and it has to be really exciting and fantastic and you know the stars have to all shower. And that wasn't what was going on, actually, most of the time. And I gave myself such a hard time about it. I really felt ashamed. I really thought something's wrong with me. And when I found out my human design, and one of the first things that the reader said to me was, you're here to be cool, not hot. And this was like, oh my God. An enormous burden was taken all at once and just put out into the ocean where it dissolved. Like, oh my God. The whole game, it was just a waste. All of that stuff was not me. And then to find out what I really was took a lot of courage because it really isn't what the movies say or the pornography says or um, the romance novels say. It was something else. But because of human design, I had the courage in Tantra groups to, and later in a beautiful tantric relationship, to stay with my truth every moment of a meditation that I was doing. And this brings ecstasy. And for me, the ecstasy isn't hot, it's cool. And it's very transcendental. And because that's my wiring. And everybody's different. A lot of people are hot, you know, and they're really hot and they're not getting what they should because the world says don't. You know, most of the people in the world should be having a lot of nice, hot, or at least let's say really warm and fuzzy, and cuddly stuff not going on. Lots and lots of hugs. Yeah, mostly that's how people probably are going to be healthiest. It just wasn't me. So, yeah. And when I got my first reading, I wasn't in the mood for any more systems. I had told the person who wanted to give me the reading, no, I don't want any more systems. But she really wanted to exchange sessions with me because at the time I was a psychic palm reader. And finally, she wanted one so much that I said, okay. And she had such a good time giving me the reading. She seemed to feel that it was a wonderful chart and she was having such a joy. And I think it's like that with everybody. And this was also really important that I felt so loved and approved of for my weirdness. because I'm weird. And this feeling of relief, like, okay, it's okay. It's okay just to be this. Yeah.
Yes, I know that feeling when you were saying that, oh, this big thing on the head just, yeah, went off. And I had the similar response when I did my human design chart reading video. I was like, now I can just relax inside me and I can be who I am, you know. Madhuri, and you have a course coming up in January, which is named as Intimacy and Your Sexual Styles with Perspective of Human Design. So,
Mm-hmm.
what are you planning to cover in that, and how can this course be helpful for people who would be joining it?
Mm-hmm. Okay. So to find out what is really your style instead of what you have been impressed on by the culture, your own real, maybe you're actually meant to be shy and your mind is telling you all the time, oh, I should be bold, I should go out and grab hold of people. Or maybe your style is that you should feel like friends before you feel like lovers. Everybody has different ways, and then it will touch also, of course, on lots of different levels of intimacy thing. It's not just sex, it's like also your feeling and your heart and your soul and everything. And when you get a sense more of your own way, it's a lot easier to connect in the right way with other people. um, However you meet them, that you can see, okay, did I meet this person in a way that was fitting for me, or was I coming out of fear? Was I pushing something when I shouldn't? For example, if you are a person who's not supposed to push something, some people are supposed to push things, but most of us are not. And once you have a sense of what you are really about, then when you know about the other person's design, you can see how it can fit together or not, what can go wrong, what doesn't go wrong. And you can keep yourself out of a lot of trouble, because there's a lot of relationships people get into that they never should have gotten into in the first place. And probably people are managing not to get into ones that they should get into because they're coming from their shoulds, they're coming from pressure from other people. I can give you a little example. Recently, someone gave me a romantic invitation that was very big, had a lot of goodies in it. And for my type, this is a right thing to get a clear invitation with a lot of goodies is very good. I'm a projector. But my body, my gut felt really uneasy, like something didn't feel right, didn't feel good. And my mind keeps saying, look, there's so many things in this that's something that you want, that you've been dreaming about. But my body's just going, ugh. And from looking at the designs, I can understand, first of all, why it's so important that I take time with all of this. And second, why I feel uneasy. And the more time I'm taking with it, the more I'm understanding my uneasiness and giving it credit, giving it respect. So it's very possible I'm going to be able to save myself from something that would be actually really not a good thing for me at all. And without human design, I would be much more in a kind of mind thing about it, like, oh well, I've been invited to this, maybe it's meant to be, maybe I'm supposed to do this because it's a sign from somewhere. Instead, I'm like, again and again coming back to this, like, ooh, nah. So like that, you get more able to give credit to what you already really know. because um, you can say, oh yeah, okay, well, it is actually written like this. So you just kind of give yourself, um, it's a way of affirming what you already know and helping you pay attention to what you already know. Because mostly, whatever it is that we know, the mind immediately starts to argue with it. With each person, with their inner authority, whatever it is, their way to make a decision, it's very normal that when your body tells you something, your mind immediately argues. And knowing that, you can become alert. Aha, there was my gut feeling. And here's my mind. But. And you can save yourself a lot of misery like that. And sex and intimacy is such a fascinating subject. So we get to get into it and wallow around and look at all these different aspects of it with different kinds of people. And each person who's in the course, you'll have your chart. I will have your chart also. And I will have done a prep on your chart. So I will have the deeper nuances of it. And as we're going through the course, we'll be looking at different charts with certain focuses. With your permission, if you don't mind having your chart shown to people. If you don't want to, that's also totally fine. You can just say. And you can get, a bit more confidence and grounding in how you navigate in this interesting world of love and sex.
Sounds interesting. I am in. Sign me up. Yeah, I think she's also in. She also wants to. Wonderful. Sounds so good. You brought in one of your answers about palm reading and that you were a palm reader. And in India, we have lots of palm readers and psychic healers and astrology. So, my question to you is that how human design is different
Mm-hmm.
than astrology or palm reading, and what kind of different angles both can give to oneself.
Mm-hmm. Okay, good. So, um, some people have a natural wiring to be psychic in different ways because all psychics are weird, just the way all poets are weird. It's like very individualistic ways of sensing things. Um, it's a quite loaded subject. I used to teach that for many, many years. This is what I was teaching was intuitive opening. How I taught people how to be psychics. And there are many dangers in it, which I can tell you because I eventually got a brain tumor from from the way I was doing it. I was working too hard at it. I didn't need to, and I was working too hard. Way, way, way too hard, which is in my design that I would tend to go overboard. I would tend to do too much, not know when to stop. That's one of my pitfalls. Human design is really about wiring. It's like opening up your car hood and seeing all the way the wires go. It's not the same thing at all as being psychic, unless one of your wires is to be psychic. Then you can learn how to be with that gift of yours in a way that doesn't hurt you and that will be fun and that won't hurt anybody else. Um, Traditional astrology, yeah, I know a lot of people love it and get a lot out of it. For me, human design has been so much more personally useful. What my astrology says is something that actually I'm not comfortable with. Some of it I'm comfortable with, but the main thrust of it bothers me. Whereas with human design, I feel relaxed. I feel like, okay, it takes some pressure off. Because human design is using two birth times. It's the birth time and then 3 months before your birth, which we call the design level or body level, it's the unconscious level, both those times go into your chart. It gives it an extra depth. I don't want ever to say that any system isn't right, because it's like everything else. Timing is right and everybody's different. So it might be perfect for somebody. I can just say for me that human design was much more useful, much more useful. And it helped me to stop pushing and trying and doing, which was really my disease, as it shows in human design. It's like the thing I really shouldn't be doing. And that's what all I was ever doing before. The psychic stuff, some people are very interested in it, and I think it's good to ask yourself why you're interested in it. Do you want power over other people? Do you want to compensate for feeling worthless by being really, really smart at something? Or is it something that truly has arisen in you, that has interest and joy for you, that you're playing in, and that has some expansion, some kind of a, breaking old bonds for you? Then maybe it's something right. It just, everybody will be doing it in a different way. It's a thing one can look at a chart and talk about quite a lot. Some people have more of a design to be healers than other people. And it's just different. Tarot cards. I read tarot cards and I read them with my hand. I don't even look at the card hardly. I just close my eyes and take it in and read it with my hand. I used to teach people how to do that. I don't want to teach it anymore because it made me tired finally. And I see a danger with exploring it in a way that isn't grounded in meditation and in the body. It needs to be very deeply grounded. It needs to be grounded in the sex. It needs to be grounded in the belly. It needs to be grounded in the feet. It needs to be grounded in meditation, in big space, in nothingness. Because it's too easy to get pinched and focused and then go on an ego trip with it. Um, and to get in higher chakras, which are not connected to the lower chakras, and it gets distorted. So I'm not saying don't explore it. Absolutely, I'm not saying that. Psychics are also needed here. But let it be part of your whole meditation experiment and your whole Tantra experiment. And let it be based on going into yourself. Yeah.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Madhuri. Thank you so much for this alive, lively human design tantric conversations. And if you want more, you can join us on 11th of December as well, where we have a free webinar, a free tester event with Madhuri, and to know more what is your sexual style and nature with perspective of human design. We would be talking more with Madhuri, and she would be introducing with an example on that particular session. So this is not just all, there is more coming up, and tune in with us. And thank you so much, Madhuri, for taking out this time and giving us so much clarity and insights on human design. I'm sure that our listeners have also enjoyed. And maybe just one practical thing, how if somebody after watching this session wants a human design chart of his or
Mm-hmm.
her own self, what should they do? Can they?
So if you want to look at your chart, all you have to do is go to, there's many sites where you can print them for free. Jovian Archive is one, jovianarchive.com. And there it says, get your free rave chart. And then you just put in your birth information, and you will need the time of day or night that you were born. So if you don't know it, ask your mom if she's still with us. And It can also be on the birth certificate, or ask your auntie, was it at least morning, noon, or night? The closer you can get it, the better. And then you'll get the chart printed out. You can also pay for a printout that will tell you some stuff. Um, Most people don't find that terribly rewarding. It's like, it's good to have, but you might still feel you want to go further. So if you want a reading, there are many people out there. There's me, and there's lots and lots of people. And you can even just go on Facebook and say, "Hey, does anybody know a good human design reader?" And somebody will say something.
Yeah,
If you want
also
it from
let's
me, just go to
join
Facebook.
you, and we
Yeah,
have
yeah,
also in the facilitators list Madhuri up there as a human design reader. You can always have an appointment with her. We have also Shantamo, which is a great human design reader, and of course there are many others. So we highly
yeah.
suggest that you know your human design chart. Thank you so much, Madhuri. Thank you so much for
Thank you,
joining.
Mohini. Your presence that I know also from your design is like, it's completely at one with what you're doing right now, and this is, I feel very supported by that in this
Thank
moment.
you. Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody, for listening and
Okay,
joining us. Hope you enjoyed. Stay tuned in, and please do share how you like this particular session or interview. Thank you. Thank you. Bye bye.